Hello, everyone. It's Charlton. So, the Attorney General of New York, he has resigned, man. He resigned about a half hour ago, a little bit more, and this just happened so fast. It really did. I'm in shock just how quickly this developed, and this all broke, at the end of the business day, I believe, and maybe a little bit after. And I mean, I just saw it first on Hannity, and he was just saying it's coming so fast. He wasn't ready for it. And, initially the New York governor, Cuomo, was calling for his resignation, as was the Senator Gillibrand in New York. And then, within moments, he did. He resigned. He's still denying it, and he's contending he's going to fight the charges. He hasn't been proven of anything. It's all in a New Yorker report. Ronan Farrow, who's broken several things. He's the one who broke the Weinstein thing, broke it wide open, and I'm familiar with him. He's on CNN all the time. He actually, it's not important, but he's Woody Allen and Mia Farrow's son. I mean, I kept looking at him, saying like, who is that dude? And I looked it up, and he's Mia Farrow's son and Woody Allen. But anyways, and he also did the piece about Karen McDougal, the playmate that alleges to have had an affair with Trump, similar to Stormy Daniels, etc. So, but this one is from four women, two that have been named, and they're in the Post. And we'll try to quickly cruise through them, and two that remain anonymous, and they're alleging all sorts of stuff, very specific accounts of what happened, of the very physical nature with which the relationship, was. And I don't want to mischaracterize it, so I'll read from the reports. And, it's pretty unbelievable. But like I said, I was just so shocked that it just happened so quickly. Governor calling for his resignation, senator calling for his resignation, and within hours, he's resigning. But he's still, still denying it, that it was all consensual, and that he's claiming he's innocent. New York Attorney General Eric Schneiderman has resigned his position, and his statement is, "It's been my great honor and privilege to serve as Attorney General for the people of the state of New York. In the last several hours, serious allegations, which I strongly contest, have been made against me. While these allegations are unrelated to my professional conduct or the operations of the office, they will effectively prevent me from leading the office's work at this critical time. I therefore resign my office effective at the close of business on May 8th, 2018, which is tomorrow." Unreal. So in his tweet, he issued a denial, basically saying, "In the privacy of intimate relationships, I've engaged in role playing and other consensual sexual activity. I have not assaulted anyone. I have never engaged in non-consensual sex, which is a line I would never cross." And he actually, in this report on CNN, where it's basically breaking, him announcing his resignation, they have a clip here of him bringing forth the civil lawsuit against Harvey Weinstein and Harvey Weinstein's companies, expressing outrage at the shock at what he's been, what are being alleged and so forth. So, all right, let's get to quickly the accounts of the ex-girlfriends, and they're pretty unbelievable. Ex-Schneiderman, and these two women dated him, for a length of time. The ones that have come forward and are named. I think the others just dated once or twice, I believe. The New Yorker piece is extremely long, and I read most of it. I really did, but it goes on and on and on. So, you see what I mean. So that's actually, there's too much information, man. One of the two women that weren't named is a very prominent, well-known attorney in New York, in the New York legal community. And this is her account of what happened. I'll try to sum that up. So at the New York Post, Tanya Selvaratnam, one of the two women that actually have been named, and she's pictured there along with the Attorney General, who's now resigned. She's a Harvard-educated activist, writer, and she met him, I believe, at the so from 2016 at the Philadelphia Democratic National Convention. I live in Philadelphia, so um, she described her relationship was a fairy tale that became a nightmare. Quickly escalated into violence in the bedroom, even as he begged for threesomes. Sometimes he'd tell me to call him master, and he'd slap me until I did, Selvaratnam said. He started calling me his brown slave and demanding that I repeat that I was his property. The slaps started after we'd gotten to know each other. It was at first as if he were testing me. Then it got stronger and harder. It wasn't consensual. This wasn't sexual play acting. This was abusive, demeaning, threatening behavior. She said that as the violence grew, so did his sexual demands. He was obsessed with having a threesome and said it was my job to find a woman, Selvaratnam said. He said he'd have nothing to look forward to if I didn't and would hit me until I agreed. She said she had no intention of adding a second woman to their bed. The abuse increased until Schneiderman was not only slapping her, but spitting on her and choking her, she said. He was cutting off my ability to breathe, she said. Soon, we could rarely have sex without him beating me. The Attorney General was often fueled by booze, Selvaratnam said, and he would push her to drink too, she said. Oh, man. His other ex-girlfriend from, I believe this was from 2013 to 2015. I may have the dates wrong. Her name is Michelle Manning Barish. And she's pictured right there. I think she was actually referred to as his bride-to-be at one point. They were publicly boyfriend and girlfriend. But she talked about one night in particular where he slapped her. I'm paraphrasing, according to her, allegedly, and then began choking her. And she eventually, according to her, got free from him, and said, "What the hell are you doing?" And got out of there and broke up with him, and then later, got back together with him, according to her. But she also claims that she went to see, because she had problems with that ear where he slapped her, hit her, and hit her in the ear, and that at one point, had like a blood clot removed from there, or was having trouble with the ear, that she eventually went to an ear doctor, and and had told the ear doctor it was from putting a Q-tip in there, but she claims that she was just protecting the Attorney General, her boyfriend, after she had gotten back together with him, something like that. I mean, this, like I said, this New Yorker article is very long. So, but on that incident that I was talking about, it says, about a month into their relationship, after a boozy night, the pair fell into bed, still fully clothed, in his Upper West Side apartment, and he called her a whore, Barish said. Then all of a sudden, he just slapped me, open-handed and with great force, across the face, landing the blow directly onto my ear, she said. It was horrendous. It just came out of nowhere. My ear was ringing. I lost my balance and fell backward onto the bed. I sprang up, but at this point there was very little room between the bed and him. I got up to try to shove him back or take a swing, and he pushed me back down. He then used his body weight to hold me down, and he began to choke me. The choking was very hard. It was really bad. I kicked. In every fiber, I felt I was being beaten by a man. I was crying and in shock. She said she shouted at him, "Are you crazy?" The top lawman responded by accusing her of scratching him, and he said at some point, hitting an officer of the law is a felony, Barish said. The political activist said she left his apartment telling him they were through. I want to make it absolutely clear, Barish told the New Yorker, this was under no circumstances a sex game gone wrong. This did not happen while we were having sex. I was fully dressed and remained that way. It was completely unexpected and shocking. I did not consent to physical assault. And it goes on and on. And they did eventually get back together. I don't know the timing of how soon, if it was a month later, I really don't know. It's just that the New Yorker article is so long. And, I'll just bore you by going. Here's the woman who's the attorney, a prominent New York attorney who has not been named. And she's describing they're making out and he hit her. And actually, she provided the New Yorker, I think, a picture of, the mark it left the next day. And she had sent a picture of it to a couple of her friends, I believe. Schneiderman, so the lawyer and Schneiderman began making out, but he said things that repelled her. He told the woman, a divorced mother, that professional women with big jobs and children had so many decisions to make that when it came to sex, they secretly wanted men to take charge. She recalls him saying, yeah, you act a certain way and look a certain way, but I know that at heart you are a dirty little slut. You want to be my whore. He became more sexually aggressive, but she was repulsed by his talk and pulled away from him. She says that suddenly, at least in my mind's eye, he drew back, and there was a moment where I was like, what's happening? Then, she recalls, he slapped me across the face hard, twice, adding, I was stunned. Schneiderman hit her so hard, she says, that the blow left a red handprint. What the fuck did you just do? She screamed. And started to sob. I couldn't believe it, she recalls. For a split second, I was scared. She notes that in all of her years of dating, she had never been in a situation like the one with Schneiderman. It just really smacked me. He just really smacked me, she says. When she told him that she wanted to leave, she recalls he started to freak out, saying that he'd misjudged her. You'd really be surprised, he claimed. A lot of women like it. They don't always think they like it, but then they do, and they ask for more. She again demanded to be taken home. They got into his car, and it quickly became apparent how intoxicated he was as he drove, weaving along back roads. She was terrified that he'd kill not just her, but another driver. The next day, she told two friends and sent them a photograph of the mark on her face. Both women corroborate this. Another photograph of the lawyer, taken later that day at a family birthday party, shows faint, raised marks splayed on her cheek. One of the friends says says of Schneiderman, he seemed not to know what the word consent means. And I believe they provided this one provided photos to the New Yorker, that we haven't seen. So, that's the story there. It's such a long one. Hopefully, I did okay. And unreal. I mean, it's just so fast from 4 o'clock to 10 o'clock in the span of 6 hours, resigning. Still denying it, and he says he's going to fight it, but pretty remarkable. And this dude, I believe, did bring, was suing Trump University. I think he's, been very vocal about against Trump. So, and that's the story there. You know what? While we're there, real quick, let's see if Trump has said anything about it. No, he hasn't. All right. Thanks for watching my videos. Please subscribe to my channel. Give me a like down below. And I'll see you in the next video, man. Later.